Welcome back to another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Imani.
And I'm Tristan.
Happy New Year, by the way, to everybody out there. We're in a new decade, so we figured the best way to kick off this episode and this new decade and new year would be to just sit back, reflect, and talk about the last decade. A lot has happened in a decade. So we're just going to talk about some of the games that we've come across and we've loved and we've played, maybe some of the ones that we've hated, as well as some of the amazing tech. Again, 2010 to 2020 has been absolutely massive revolutionary steps in tech and gaming and so on in general. So let's just take this time to kind of reflect on all of that.
Yeah, like at the start of the decade, like 2009, 2010, around that time, what were you playing? Were you always playing it on?
So that was back when I had the PS3, and that was just either around or just before when my PS3 just died on me. I literally got the rarest, or the most rare, I guess is the grammatically correct way of saying it. The most rare error, which was known as the red screen of death. So obviously a lot of people are familiar with black screen of death or the blue screen of death. Yeah, I got the red screen of death. All it was when I turned on my PlayStation, it would show a red screen with text in all different languages, basically just saying, "Yeah, we don't work anymore." So it was unfortunate. And then of course I called Sony. This was when I was not living in America, of course. And I called Sony up and I was like, "Yeah, like what? You want to help me with this?" Because I couldn't find any information about it online. Very few people have experienced it. And they're like, yeah, we can't do anything about this, but if you want, you could send it to us and pay us $100 to fix it. And I was, I didn't have $100. I was a kid. $100 was a lot of money. So yeah, sure enough, I lived for, I think it was from like 2011 to like 2014-15 without a gaming system.
Yo, I think around that same time, I might not have had a system either, or even a PC, because, well, similar reasons. I was broke.
Valid reason.
That was like just out, well, final years of high school, just coming out of secondary school, yeah. So I didn't have anything.
I had the PS2 obviously back in before the PS3 came out, because even the PS3 I got kind of late. I was never the kind of person who would buy a console out the gate, or I would never, I guess, get a console out the gate, since I didn't really buy it. My parents or family friends would buy it, or family. Yeah, it was I'm really trying to think back, like what did I do in that time, because I wasn't playing games. I really think that was when I just started watching people play games,
Ooh, yeah, I didn't. I'll admit, I was really on the watching people play games thing. Like that happened like fairly recently for me. Maybe in the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 2-3 years ago, you weren't on the esports wagon. I had to convince you
Nah,
about that.
nah.
You were like, esports,
Like
it's not real sports. Why
I,
you
wa-
can't do that?
I was not a part of it. I didn't even understand Twitch. I was like, yo, what's the point of watching people play games? And now, like, Twitch is my most used app probably.
Yeah. I mean, times change. Like again, entire mentalities change in a decade, man. Like in a decade, at the start of 2010, we were still in high school together, man. So that was it's been a long time, and a lot has happened. Finished high school, we finished basically all of our education, and now we're just working. It's been a productive and interesting, to say the least, decade. But in 2010, before my PlayStation died, I was playing Just Cause 2, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, Call of Duty Black Ops. I believe that was the last Black Ops that I bought, or I mean the last Call of Duty that I bought. And Need for Speed Hot Pursuit also came out that year as well. And just for some honorable mentions, Red Dead Redemption came out that year. Need for Speed World. We spoke a lot about the Need for Speed saga on a previous episode, but Need for Speed World also came out. Halo Reach came out. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 came out. Borderlands, came out in 2009, but it had the Game of the Year edition in 2010. So it was a notable year for gaming.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think I was on any of those games back then. I was
Yeah,
like a hardcore FIFA Need for Speed player back
you were a
then.
FIFA fiend.
Yeah, I was like just playing FIFA only.
Oh man.
Like FIFA and maybe I believe I played Hot Pursuit when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. Did I? It was okay. I remember I have a good amount of memories of it, so it must have been okay.
It must have been decent enough to warrant playing, right?
That was the drifting one, right? Like every corner you took, you drifted. Like you
Yeah.
were drifting at like 200 miles an hour, something dumb like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it was Need for Speed, man. That I guess that was what made Need for Speed, an arcade race. It was ridiculous, but what else was there at the time? Need for Speed was it. It was the racing game at the time.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you something. Like for the past decade, the racing game that I enjoyed the most was probably Forza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially this last Forza, because we've been playing it.
Yeah. It gets a lot of things right. I like the fact that you could customize your experience. Like my biggest complaint with the Need for Speed series is that it's always one version of driving that you get per game. Like you can't. Okay, Shift will be more like simulation, and then you'd have like Hot Pursuit, which is it was so would you use to describe it?
So
Arcade
arcadey.
like, arcadey, yeah. So with Forza, you get like you can start the game basically and play on easy mode. You basically just play it as what would be the best way to describe it? Just like a map viewer, because you're like doing nothing to steer the car. You could start the game like that, or you could basically turn it into a simulator, which I love.
Yeah, Forza has. I feel like Forza, and when I say Forza, I mean I've only really played Horizon 4. So Forza Horizon 4, it's one of those games where it just has a great balance of that arcade feel, but also it can very much be that more simulator kind of game. That's why, even compared to the most recent Need for Speed Heat, I still prefer Forza. Not to mention the car selection is great. They're always adding to the game. It's just a great experience. The only thing I think I want is, especially since I've been playing it for a while, is just a bigger map. But then they have the expansion, the that Fortune Island expansion. It's really just a case
Is it
of,
not gone? Is that still not in the game?
yeah, it's still in the game. Like, because it's a permanent place on the map. Once you beat the game, it's just permanently there. You can go, but you just have to buy the expansion to get it.
Oh, I thought that was like a limited time thing. Okay.
No, maybe the Lego thing was, but no, I think even the Lego thing, because most of the times those expansions, they're just there. You Once you have it and you go to that location on the map, you get transported to that next island or whatever it is.
Oh, well, you just had to buy it.
Yeah, you just have to buy it.
Cool.
And again, it's not really super expensive. It's just I haven't even bought Forza yet. I have Game Pass, so it's like if I'm buying this expansion, I have to buy Forza first before I buy the expansion. Because all of a sudden I buy the expansion, I stop using Game Pass, and then I got an expansion with no game.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation. Actually think my Game Pass expired today, so I
Oh
have a
yeah.
decision to make: either continue Game Pass or just get Forza, because it's the only thing I've been playing on Game Pass.
Yeah, I know. For me, I have Game Pass until June, like June 3rd or something. Or I don't know why I have it that long. I know, like I paid $15 for like the holiday sale or whatever, and yeah, I have it until June. So I'm gonna enjoy it until then, and then I'll decide if I need to pull the trigger. I mean, if I see some sales for it come along in that time, then I might just buy it. And
You could check out like the other games too. I think they still have Outer Worlds, which people have been raving about.
oh, they do. I didn't even know that they had Outer Worlds on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I don't think I just have regular Game Pass. I have Game Pass Ultimate. So Game Pass, is just regular Game Pass is on the Xbox. Game Pass Ultimate is for both Windows and Xbox or something like that.
So you go and check out anything else? Like, did you play the Halo games? I know you had an Xbox.
I just bought an Xbox around last year. No, not last. When I say last year, again, I'm still in 2019 mindset. So when I say last year, I mean 2018. But like November 2018 is when I bought my Xbox One S. I had Game Pass, so I actually started playing Halo from the start, the first Halo, because one of my boys, he's been an Xbox player all his life, and he recommended Halo, and I was like, all right, I mean, I'll give it a shot, but it's one of those things of I went to play it, and it's like, damn, man, graphics used to suck, and not just graphics, but like gameplay mechanics. You can't crouch in the first Halo, for example, which was weird for me. Yeah, like coming from a game again before I even started playing that, the game that I was playing the most was Apex. So coming from a game where movement is so fluid to a game where movement is so stiff, where you can't even crouch and you're just kind of walking around shooting things in pixelated graphics, it was very jarring to say the least.
Yeah. But remember when that came out? That was the pinnacle, yo. That was the
That was
mountaintop.
revolutionary. But no, definitely let me see. In 2010, Heavy Rain also came out. So I never actually played Heavy Rain, but have you ever heard of Heavy Rain?
Nah.
It's the best way I could describe it is it's kind of like it's a story driven game, definitely story driven, where it follows these three people who are basically the main characters from different perspectives. I think one of them is Ethan, which is like a little boy. One of them's like a cop, and they're all like, it's basically revolved around this murder, and it's a really interesting game to play. But I just watched the playthrough on YouTube, and it's one of those things where you really get you know caught up in it. It was a great thing to watch. One of my roommates recommended it to me. And we watched it all through. It's one of those. It's really like a movie. If you find the right person with the right playthrough, it's like watching a movie.
So it's kind of like a Kojima Productions style game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we could compare it to that.
Okay.
I can't. I'm trying to think. Who made Heavy Rain? Heavy Rain was made by Quantic Dream.
Dude, I've never heard of them. Are they still operational?
Yes, they are. They're like a French game developer. Some of their games, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human.
Holy shit, that's a big game.
Exactly. Yeah. So they and those are the kind of games they make. Those very heavy story driven kind of games. Beyond Two Souls. I played Beyond Two Souls, and I have Detroit Become Human. It's one of my favorite games from 2018, and it's super story driven, but it's really like one of those things where it's like you're sitting there watching a movie, just kind of making decisions. Great game.
Yeah, I enjoyed that style of game, but I don't play it as often. Like the last game like that I played was LA Noir. You ever played that?
No, I've never played it. I've heard great things about it. Never played it though.
Yeah, it was good. If I believe it got like real, it flew under the radar for like a good while simply because I think when it came out, people were expecting GTA 5 or people were waiting for GTA 5, so it just never get hyped up when they got Eleanor. But when I actually played that game, it was really good, especially like the face animations for the time for the technology that it had, insane. Because a lot of the game is just like the premise of the game is you're a detective in the 1940s in California,
Right.
and you have to solve a crime. I forget. There's a major crime that you have to solve. It's a murder of something. I can't remember exactly. But they like have other side stuff to do. But you basically have to interrogate people and read their facial expressions to know if they're lying or not.
Wow. I mean, when did this game come out? Actually,
I think like 2014, 2015. About it was the year before GTA 5. When did GTA 5 come out?
GTA 5 came out 2013 actually. So 2012 is when that game came out.
No, that can't be that old.
Yeah, well,
No.
let's check that out right now. LA Noir came out 2011.
Holy shit, bro.
So that means for the time, that's amazing for the time. Like the start of the decade again had great things, but at the same time, games like that probably really pushed the genre, this kind of story genre a lot.
Yo, I didn't think that came out that long.
Yeah, May
Whoa.
17th, 2011.
Because I remember the game. Like, it's not like the best looking game, but I remember the facial expressions being so good. Like you could actually read when someone is lying, and it's not like obvious.
Right. It's the subtle things.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
that's
that's
that's that's impressive. I mean, for that time to have that. I mean, I'm saying this like this is if like this is mid 2000s. 2011 was again. There still were good games and games that were pushing the envelope, but it was definitely around 2000, the turn of the decade. That was definitely when things started to be pushed a little bit further.
yeah. That was around the time of the PS3, Xbox
Yep,
360. That's when
PS3
yeah, that's when
because
things
the
started pushing.
PS4 only came out in 2013. So yeah, that was back when the PS3 was. Although LA Noir is on the PS4, I remember seeing it on the PS4 as well.
I kind of want to play that game again.
So that's a big 2011 title. We also have Uncharted. Uncharted 3 came out in 2011 as well. Um, Little Big Planet 2. I don't know if you know about. Do you know Little Big Planet?
I know of it. I never played it or like pay attention to it.
It was honestly it was one of those games. I when I had my PS3, I wanted it really badly because it was like that. The amount of creativity, the amount of things that you could have just created in that game was just amazing. You could have created mini games in the game. It was a sandbox game, and it was exclusive to the PlayStation. The way I think I convinced my dad to get it because I was like, I want to design a game. Right back then, I was like, I want to be a game designer, and I was like, this might let me do that. So I think that's how I kind of like pushed so I could get it. But Little Big Planet 2, I think that was the first time I tried it. And Need for Speed The Run. I know you said you liked The Run.
Yeah, the run underrated. I find.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I looked for it on Origin, and it's not there for some reason.
Like at all?
Like it's there, but you have to buy it. I'm not gonna
Oh, it's
buy
not
it.
on basic?
Nah, it's not
That's
even on
weird.
Premiere.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I thought that they would at least have most of the Need for Speed games on there, but how much is it? Is it like $10 or something?
I can't remember.
Infamous 2 was also a big title from 2011. I mean, a lot of these, again, I'm calling out PlayStation exclusives because that's what I had, you
Yeah,
know?
back then.
I played Infamous 2, following the story of Cole McGrath. That was a very interesting game. I liked the mechanic of where you can choose to be a hero or you could choose to be an anti-hero or even just a straight up villain, and I often kind of flipped between the two. I had like two different play profiles for it, so I could go into one anytime I want to blow off some steam and I could just destroy everything and kill everybody. And then I have one where I'm just the hero and I'm just a nice guy. So it was definitely one of those. It was a good game. I know Dark Souls is a big title
Well,
for
like
a lot of people.
the first one. Did the first one
First,
come out then?
first one came out 2011.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
For some reason, I thought the first Dark Souls was older than that.
No, Dark Souls 2011. Skyrim was also 2011.
It's insane that Skyrim is that old, yo. Skyrim is going on 9 years old.
Yeah, man, and it's still kicking, man. There's still mods. There's still I think modding is. We'll actually talk about this in a future episode, but modding is a big thing that keeps a lot of games alive and also adds a lot of just variety, and it makes games better. Having a good community of modders around games, and we see this in games like Skyrim, Beat Saber, and just so many more.
Like GTA and stuff, yeah.
GTA, yep. Modding a lot of the times brings sometimes dead games back to life.
Yeah. I think a lot of the replay value of the Grand Theft Auto games is just because you could put in insane mods into the
Yeah,
game. Like you could play San Andreas now and have fun just because you could put in like a bunch of crazy shit in.
yeah. It's funny. One of the San Andreas is one of the games that I played with one of my friends when I was younger, and I remember cheat codes were a part of the game. If you weren't
Yeah,
using cheat codes, you were playing the game wrong.
yeah, it was a feature. Like cheat codes worthy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I mean, again, we'll talk about all of that, specifically cheats and modding in games in a future episode, but it's interesting how times have changed.
Yeah, bro. Like you can cheat now.
No, you put in any type of cheats, you that's like grounds for instant ban.
Yeah, people. I remember in which one was this? In Vice City,
Yeah.
Yeah, like just I remember like using the PlayStation controller and it's like R2 L2 like up down all kind of different shit to get a
Yeah.
tank. You could just get a tank and just start mooing over people.
One of my favorite things to do in Vice City was when you spawn the tank, if you spin it around, if you spin the cannon towards the screen and you just keep shooting, you can fly. There was
What?
no, yeah, so if you just keep shooting, the recoil from the cannon allowed you to just fly. There was no forces pulling you down. I literally did it off of like a ledge and I just kept flying. And I was like, this is stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, well, it's something that definitely went away. I think cheating is like even in single player games, people look down on you for cheating, and like
Which is weird to me.
yeah, it's like I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, like as long I can understand cheating again in games where there's a competitive mode or a multiplayer aspect, but in just in just a single player or a local multiplayer game, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, at all.
I definitely think again cheating like cheats. I remember in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 for the PS2. Um, Again, it was the classic. What was it like the Konami code? Up down, left right, left right. It was like up down, left right, L1 L2 R1 R2, and that would automatically unlock the CLS AMG whatever. I remember it was that silver car with like the hood scoop on the top of the cabin, and that was like the cheat that we would use to kind of level the playing field anytime we forgot our memory cards, because at least we both have a fast car and it's a good car. That's another thing too. Like tech has changed. I mean, memory cards, man. I mean, this is
Yo,
PS2, but like,
memory card.
uh,
I remember just like leaving the leaving the PlayStation on, just to
yes,
not lose save.
yup.
Oh
That
god.
was I did that strategy for anytime I was visiting my cousin. He had a Game Boy, and he had Pokemon Ruby, and anytime I would be there, he would let me play, but he wouldn't let me start a new save file. So what I would do is I would start a new save file, right? I start a new game, but I would just leave it on for the entire like 2 weeks or whatever that I'm visiting, and not turn it off. And then once I do turn it off, his save file would not be overwritten.
Yeah, yeah.
The strategies that we had to pull off as as kids, man.
That's like a next game I used to like that. I know that's not this decade, but Pokemon. I played Pokemon so much in
Played
like the
it too
past.
much.
What like I think the first one I played was Yellow or something. The one with
Oh,
Pikachu.
you going to the classic?
The one with Pikachu is your starter,
Yeah,
and like ever since then up to which one is that? What Diamond and Pearl? Which region that is like center?
yeah. Something that those were the last games I played. I actually bought Pokemon Sword like not even last week, like 4 days ago. Already on like the fifth, on the sixth gym, I think. uh, but yeah, last Pokemon game that I played was Diamond and Pearl, and I had both Diamond and Pearl because I had two DSs. One of them was broken slightly, but it still worked. So, actually, one of our classmates, one of your friends, old close friends, he had the action replay. Um, and I got him to drop some cheats in there for me. My character turned from a boy to a girl, and I had all the legendary Pokemon that I want, all the Master Balls that I needed, and those were the day. Again, going back to cheats.
Yeah, bro. Like that was the next game where like sometimes you had to cheat to win the game.
Yeah, if you and like sometimes you had to cheat if you wanted the cool stuff.
Yeah, like can you get like a in Emerald and like it's Emerald? Yeah, it would have been Emerald. Can you
Mhm.
get Deoxys in Emerald without cheating? I don't think you
I
can.
I don't think you can. I really don't think you can. I think the only way that you can get certain things is through cheats.
Yeah. I still, oh god, I think I played Emerald so much. Like I just replayed that game for no reason. I did like these
Over and
exact
over.
same thing.
Yep. It
Like
was
choose the exact same Pokemon.
exact same starters.
Same stuff. I don't think I ever picked the grass type. I picked the grass type once. What was that? Grovyle.
For was it Grovyle
Was
or Trico? Trico, yeah.
Treecko, Mudkip, and
Torchic.
Torchic. Yeah,
Yeah, Torchic was fire, bro.
Tor-
Like literally,
yeah, like
obviously, but
literally. Torchic was like you had to get a Blaziken.
yeah, man. Yo, man, the memories, man, they're coming back. It's
Yeah.
boomerang. It's all coming back. No, it's again. I mean, I think all of this stuff is pre 2010, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, all of that was just before, and it's crazy how far things have come. I mean, now essentially our phones could technically run most of the games from 2010 and before.
Yeah, like easily.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, yeah. Things come far, but you look at the Pokemon games; they haven't really changed.
No,
Like
that's
it,
one
it,
thing.
it looks better, but there's still no dialogue,
Yeah,
which
so and that's the
is
funny thing. When I booted up and started playing Sword, I was at least expecting like dialogue. I was expecting a dub, I was expecting them to speak. I was expecting to hear something, not just text. I actually turned up my volume. I was like, is something wrong? Because I think I've just been so used to not just reading. I've gotten used to actual people talking.
yeah. It's kind of weird that there still isn't speaking in the Pokemon games.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting just something, just a little bit, but no, the only thing that makes noise in those games are the Pokemon.
Yeah, even like the fighting is not like it's gotten better, but it's not like insanely different. It's
No.
still just animations on the screen going towards the other Pokemon.
I mean,
And
I will admit some animation. So, like, again, I'm a fire type dude. So, I got me, I forgot the original form, but I have the final evolution of the fire type starter, Score Bunny, named him Shiro. His special move, Pyro Ball, or I forgot the name of it, but he actually like has a little pebble that he kicks up, and he juggles for a second, and then he kicks it towards the enemy, and it turns into like a fireball. And I was like, yo, that animation is kind of, no pun intended, fire. Like like there are small animations, but for the most part it really is just like a nudge towards the other Pokemon kind of thing. But there are some key animations that they did well. But they're obviously for like the bigger, flashier attack. So what else we got? I mean, so let's move on to 2012. 2012 was another interesting year. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I feel like after the first Black Ops, that's when Call of Duty started to like die. That was Call of Duty's like start of downfall, because I think Black Ops was, what was it? It hit that record of $1 billion of sales in a couple days, and that was insane in the game. That was unheard of. Nobody ever hit that before. So, and then after that, 2012, Black Ops 2 started coming out. It just became a repetitive thing. There's really no more big hype or anything around Call of Duty.
yeah,
2012 was also the first year that VR started coming back to the masses, and Oculus launched their Kickstarter that we all know, the Rift, and they're kind of the ones who brought back VR to mainstream.
wait, VR was in mainstream before.
It you had like the what do you call it? Nintendo tried it with the, I forgot what it was called, but there were like these really archaic VR experiences and VR games. They weren't very good. They were not what we know VR to be today. But it was like, you would put your face in this lens type thing, and yeah, you'd be seeing this game, but you really can't move around or anything. But VR had a very basic start back in the 80s, 90s.
Wait, it was that long?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, VR isn't like brand new. This is just the latest iteration of it.
Bro, what are you talking about? Like, what was the name of that? I've never heard of that.
Hold on. All right. So, yeah, okay. Here, I'm going to pull it up.
Is that was from Nintendo?
I believe it was either Nintendo, let me
Nintendo
see.
Virtual Reality.
The Virtual Boy
The Virtual Boy.
came out in 95. And it was
Right?
it came out July 21st, 95. It was discontinued December 22nd, 95.
What?
Yeah, so
Came
they
out for a
dropped that. They
day.
dropped that real quick. Sold 770,000 Virtual Boy units worldwide. 140,000 of those in Japan. But this was one of the first very basic iterations of VR gaming.
Oh my god. Is that how this okay.
Yeah, so again, the virtual reality that we know now, it's not the start. It's the next step. It's the next generation of it. Before, I mean, again, the Virtual Boy had, I think everything was in red. It was it wasn't good, but it was a good attempt. They definitely tried something new and amazing, but the technology wasn't there. But it was also targeted towards an older audience for some reason. I guess because those were the people who would be able to afford it. But yeah, the Virtual Boy.
Guessing it wasn't the cheapest.
Uh, yeah, no. Especially in '96.
Wait, okay, I'm reading it. It started at $99.
But
And
think
then
about
it
it
dropped
in
to $29.99 in 3 days. What?
it was I'm telling you, like spending that kind of money on something that wasn't established. Again, this came out in 95. The PS1 came out in 94, right? And it was something that, it was like, do I buy this thing that I'm not sure about? Do I not know about? Or do I just get like a PlayStation?
I mean, at that point, the PlayStation was not something that you knew about. You. It's
Exactly.
the
But that's the thing. It
PlayStation
was
1.
growing though.
Yeah.
Because the PlayStation had like a good year to establish itself, and sales were going well.
Oh man, I love my PlayStation. I still have it. It still
Yeah,
works.
man.
I just need a power adapter. It still works.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got to get that up and running, man. How old is it now? That means, but like, it wasn't a '94,
No,
right?
no, no. It was the Slim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I still have my PS2 and my PS3. They're sitting over there on my shelf. I display them proudly. My PS3 doesn't work and it doesn't have a hard drive in it anymore, but I display them proudly.
Cause save
PS2
that,
still works though.
save that for your kids. They'll watch that shit like, yo, what is that?
Yo, I actually have to call. I'm. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call Sony. I'm gonna be like, are you guys still gonna fix the PS3? Because I mean, I'll pay the $100 to get it up and running again.
Oh, you
Because
are.
the issue with the PS3 actually happened because what happened was when I got the PS3, it was right when they were transitioning between the regular fat PS3 and then the PS3 Slim. So what happened was I actually got one of the last models of the big PS3, but it had a mix of the original PS3 hardware and a mix of the Slim hardware. So it was because of that mix that certain components weren't getting along, and then it ended up burning out.
Oof.
So I literally got unlucky.
They
And
should
I was
replace
like,
that shit for you.
that's what I'm saying. I think at one point they made it free, but I just don't know if they do it anymore. They probably don't even have the parts for it anymore.
No, I think we played PSG discontinued like 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to buy a working PS3 and transplant the parts, and that'll be a
Or
summer
just
project maybe.
or just get a working PS3. Why would you destroy one working PS3 to fix one that's not working?
Hey,
Yo.
why would you destroy a working car to? I don't know, man. That's a hard one.
Bro, what?
It's all about the original body, right? It's that philosophical thing, right? If you have a ship and then you replace half of the boards on it, is it still the same ship?
If you got the parts from like the same model of ship, yeah.
So then yeah, I mean, I'm just going, yeah.
But but then again, you have the identical ship next to it. Why would you waste time in fixing the ship?
Because the original ship is my original ship, I mean,
Alright,
yeah.
alright, bro.
Oh man. But yeah, 2012. We also had Borderlands 2 came out 2012, Halo 4, Far Cry 3, to name some big titles. 2012, the year that the world was supposed to end, according to the Mayan calendar. Actually, Mayan calendars didn't say it was going to end. They wrote so far ahead on the calendar. They were like, we don't need to continue going, man. Like,
Yeah, that's it. That was a big thing in 2012.
yeah, I remember the movie came out. The movie was but the graphics were awesome. I love the graphics.
Looking back, it was just okay. Looking back,
Looking back in hindsight.
yeah. Like watching it now, I'm like, oh, okay, this is.
Oh, I mean, it was good for the time,
But I mean, there's some weird shit with movie graphics now. Like it had this Superman mouth incident, which is
Oh, with the mustache.
yeah. Then it had the Sonic stuff.
The Sonic one I respect just because they listened to the fans and they were like, yeah, we messed that up. let's
I
fix
mean,
that.
it was so heavily memed. Yeah, and the movie wasn't even out yet, and it was so heavily memed. They didn't have a choice.
Yeah. If they went into theaters with that, they probably would have utterly bombed.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to see it. But no, they did a good job. They fixed it. I mean, the animators, I respect them for that.
It was probably they probably animated it and was like, "Yo, this looks stupid, but this idiot wants us to push something out now." So
I think that's exactly what happened. I think it was like, we don't want to do this, but they're making us. I think that movie comes out pretty soon too.
yeah, you wanna watch it?
Probably not. I honestly,
I think you have to be a Sonic fan, like to watch the Sonic.
yeah. It's one. I mean, it's one of those things too where I haven't really been to the movies for a movie that's not anime in a while. Like,
Bro, what?
yeah, man, I'm serious. Like, most of the content that I consume is anime.
That's
And
the
again, like,
weebest shit I've ever done.
yeah, and I mean, it's a good thing I'm saying it now because 2013 is the year that I discovered, or I shouldn't say discovered because I used to watch super mainstream anime, but 2013 was the year that I took the dive into anime. And again, I was the kind of person who, when the guys in our class were watching, and when they were watching Naruto, they were watching the sub stuff. I was like, yeah, nah, why am I gonna watch something in another language and have to read the? Nah, I'm not about to do that.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, 2013 swings around, and
Yep.
here I am, sitting in a room full of anime figures and posters.
It was the same for me. Like around that time when I started watching anime, and like I started it out of necessity because all my friends at the time they were watching Naruto. Well, they were reading
Right,
the manga actually,
right.
and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna read that. So I watched the show just to like understand what the hell they're talking about because they used to
To
talk about it
participate.
constantly. And
Uh huh.
if it was just occasionally, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But it was constantly. I was like, okay, if they're talking about this constantly, it has to be good, right?
That was the hope.
So I watched out all of part one, and ship it in like 2 weeks, which I don't recommend because that was unhealthy.
That's no small feat. That is. I mean, I used to watch it on just TV, so and that took years to finish for me. Like that took like a solid 2 years for me to finish just the first Naruto. You
Yeah,
know,
that
I
was
didn't even finish Shippuden.
yeah. I watched a lot. Like it was just like the first time ever watching, like taking an anime. I was like, yo, I understand now.
I feel the presence. I mean, 2013 was the year that also Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 came out. Ultimate Ninja Storm, not 2, I think 3. Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, I think, came out in 2010. So it was a thing where it's like you watch the anime, but you also played as the characters and played the game.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z and Naruto were some of my favorite fighting games. I was never very good at Tekken. I was never very good at Tekken, but
I,
Naruto, it was like you could just button smash and
yeah,
you could do
it
things.
was just basically just like on the PS4, it's just press O, I think, and
Yeah.
just like block and dodge, and that was it.
hmm That was it.
I was insane at Tekken, like insane, disgusting, especially in the arcade. Because I used to play that like almost every day after school for years.
I
I
think
said,
we went to the mall one time, a group of us. I think I played you, and I was just like, I'm not doing this again. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
yeah, I was nasty with it. Like I used to play King, and like King had the like whole combos. I knew like all of them.
Jeez, that was my problem. Like, I realized as a teen, I didn't like actually using my brain a lot. you know, I look back at it now and it was like, damn, I just didn't like to process things. I don't know if like my short term memory was just messed up, but I just did not want to remember combos. I didn't want to learn, the mechanics of the game. I didn't want to do any of
Oh, that's me now.
that.
Like a lot of the reasons I don't want to try new games is because like, oh man, I have to learn all this shit. Like I'll never play Rainbow Six Siege now because like if I devote my time to it, I could get as good as the current players. But it's so much brain power, yo.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's a process. I mean, so Rainbow Six, that's another game that came out in 2010. I mean, again, I played it like twice. I got my ass whooped completely, so I was like, nah. But Overwatch, that came out 2016, and that was probably, I'd say, for me, the game that I spent the most time on this decade. Well, last decade, whatever you want to call it. Overwatch has eaten a ridiculous amount of I think I would actually, if I could, if I like reached the end of my life and I saw like life stats, Overwatch would probably be the one that has like taken up most of my time.
Yeah, probably same. With
Yeah.
for me, that's particularly disturbing for me because I didn't start playing Overwatch until 2017.
I mean, that's only a year after the game came out, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, but we're talking for the entire decade. That's the game I played the most.
Oh, that's a good point. But then again, you have to ask yourself, when did you start gaming? When did you get your PC and all of that?
uh, I used to play it on my laptop, on like my shitty AMD APU laptop, which was
Struggle.
yeah, and I think that was 2015. I want to say
Yeah.
yeah.
And you said you used to play a Dirty Bomb on that, right?
Oh my god, fuck you.
Oh man.
Keep bringing this shit up. Yes, I used to play Dirty Bomb, the
So
game that I loved, and if it was still active now, that would be the game I would be talking about now, and not Overwatch because the game was so freaking good and underrated, and it's now dead.
it's
You
defunct.
happy?
I mean, I'm not happy, but it's funny. I was on YouTube earlier today, and a few of the gaming people I watch for shooting games, I watch the Fast team, the FAST. It's Fuglit, Aculite, um Stone Mountain 64, and Tomographic. And Tomographic released a video today, just like a 2020 welcome and also like a face reveal and all of that. And I didn't know, but him and Aculite actually started in Dirty Bomb, and that's how they met. That's how they became friends. And Candy Roo also came from Dirty Bomb as well. So it's just crazy to me that so many of the YouTubers that I watch had their origins, in Dirty Bomb. I really didn't realize that the game was that big.
I don't think the game was that big. It's just the games you play because you and I play the same games, and Dirty Bomb is a game very similar to the games we play.
Right.
So that's why the content creators that you
That
watch
we watch,
would
yeah.
be yeah. But Oh my god! Now you have me thinking about Dirty Bomb. Yeah, I
Yeah, man. I
think
mean, you had some good times in it though. That's what brought you
yeah,
into this
that's what
realm.
brought me into FPS, like competitive FPS.
Right.
The only like shooter games that I played before that was like Rockstar games. I played LA Noire, GTA, and like
A little
Max
bit of Call of
Payne.
Duty. Oh, Max Payne, man.
Yeah,
That's a back in the day one.
yeah.
I remember Max Payne.
Yo, Max Payne was decent.
Yeah, man. I mean, for its time, it had such an interesting mechanic, man.
Yeah, kind of like the place that was kind of Gears like in a way,
Hmm.
where you like using cover and just like Max Payne was fun.
Max Payne was definitely a good game, and you would jump out, slow down time and all of that stuff.
Yo, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
that
like
was one of my favorite mechanics to abuse. Absolutely abuse.
yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah,
Looking
man.
back at it, that was. But again, a single player game.
Yeah, exactly. It was.
It's about being fun. It's not about being balanced.
I have to ask you. So, do you think games have become inherently less fun, or do you think we've just gotten older?
Uh, I think I think games have gotten less fun overall. Like fun and not enjoyable. Like I could still like I'll still play games for hours and have a good time. It's just it's not as out there as it used to be.
Right.
Like we were just talking about like that pain. It was I believe they call it painkiller where you just pop up and slow down time and just like start shooting everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because people just the emergence of multiplayer and wanting everything to be balanced is probably had an effect.
That's a very good point. Now that I think about it, yeah, multiplayer really did is kind of the thing that killed a lot of, things in games in terms of, just how we're talking about using cheats and then just a lot of the creative aspects of games were kind of killed by multiplayer.
Yeah, and then there was multiplayer and DLCs were.
Right.
I remember the first big DLC. What game that was? I think it was for Skyrim. I think it was Skyrim that where people were really talking about. But Skyrim did it well, but a lot of people were like, well, why pay for a game and then pay for the next part of the game?
Right.
And that there was a whole uproar around the turn of the decade about DLCs, and they're like a mainstay now.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, just as how connected, things are now, the fact that we have the internet and the fact that games are mostly digital and not really attached to a physical entity anymore has also just changed games in general because it's a case now where someone can release a game that is basically not done. I'm looking at you, No Man's Sky, and then
Uh
fix it.
I won't give No Man's Sky shit simply because they're not a big developer.
Well, right, but I mean, it's the example. I mean, like you can release a game that is highly anticipated, but not done.
Yeah, I would more say Anthem. Yeah, that would more because
They said they're completely reworking Anthem.
no one cares though. I don't think anyone cares.
I haven't touched it. I have not opened it. Don't plan on it.
Our next big example is as like Fallout 76. That
Oh God.
was literally a pre-alpha game that they released. That was insane. Why would they do that?
Yeah, I've only heard horror stories from that game.
It was bad. I watched like some of the gameplay when it just came out. It was a buggy mess. It was so bad. Just horrendous. It looked horrible. It looked like a 2010, 2011 game.
Looked like a mobile game.
I won't go as far as that. It didn't look that it didn't look that bad. But
It wasn't Fast and Furious bad.
nah, it wasn't Crossroads bad, but it was not good.
That's one thing. Fallout. That's another game that was a big game of the decade. A lot of people loved. What was the official the full name of Fallout? Fallout what
New Vegas? Which one?
was it? Was it New Vegas? It was the one before 76.
Before 76 was 4.
Yeah, Fallout 4. That's I was like, yeah, Fallout 4. That was a lot of people got that. A lot of people loved it. I know mods were a big thing in that game as well at some point. So Fallout was the next big game of the decade.
Did you play Fallout?
No, I've never played a Fallout game actually.
I think I started 4 and I got bored. It's like, oh, this could be fun, but I'll never know because I'm never playing this
You're
again.
never playing it again. Yeah, I mean it's a game for certain people. I definitely don't think if I played it, if I would have been that interested in it. Actually, I have a question. What do you think are some of the biggest games that you didn't play in the decade that maybe you regret not trying or not playing?
That I regret.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like completely regret, but it's like, I wish I played that.
Of this past decade,
It's a
uh,
lot of games, man. I mean, like I guess I'll drop one from the start. For me, not actually getting into and playing Red Dead Redemption, because I have Red Dead Redemption 2, but I just can't get into it. And I heard that Red Dead Redemption was a great game.
well, Red Dead Redemption 2, I don't think I could run the game even if I wanted to. It's like, have you seen how that game looks?
I have it for the Xbox. I'm actually gonna give it. I'm just gonna give it to like one of my professors. He's super cool, and I'm like, yeah, I don't play it. I might as well just give it to you.
Like
So
on PC though, have you seen
on
all?
PC, I have not seen the PC version. No,
Bro, you should look that shit up.
I,
It
I will.
it's it's like every game now is in 2020. That's in 2030.
Oh yeah,
That game
is that
looks.
good?
That game is fucking. It's insane.
Is it the
It's crazy, the graphics and the detail.
is it the Mass Effect of the new generation?
It would be like the Witcher 3 of the new
Oh,
generation,
okay,
where like the Witcher 3 is, like, up until like last year is where Witcher 3 was still in benchmarks.
right.
I think Red Dead Redemption 2 would still be in benchmarks in 2023, 2024.
Wow,
It
that's
looks incredible. I did not think games could look that good on this generation hardware.
well. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, it's definitely something I need to check out some videos on it because again, it's one of those games where I have it, but again for the Xbox. So graphics wise, I don't know, but I heard the story was great, and there was one review that I watched that had literally nothing but praise, and the person said that they basically just kind of get lost in that world. There's so many things to do. A lot of it might just be little mundane things, but I'm really wondering a game like that add a VR component to it, man. That might be a
I I would be hard pressed to play that game in VR. I don't think it would look good
I think if done right.
because like there's does it just doesn't have the hardware for it.
Right,
No,
right. Well, yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about like right now. I'm talking about when things get to that point where a game like that can run fully in VR at its glory as we see it now. I think that would be an interesting time. People that would literally be a world that people could probably get lost in.
okay, I'm just looking up. Oh, okay, that's surprising. I'm looking up the system requirements for Red Dead Redemption 2. These can sometimes be misleading. It's requiring i7 4770K,
Mhm.
12 gigs of RAM,
Okay. Okay. That's my entire like my old laptop. That's all the RAM my old laptop had.
uh, a GTX 1066 gig or better, and 150 gigs of free disk space. Yeah.
Ooh, that's you're talking about over 1/10 of a terabyte.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's dumb.
Bro,
Yo.
I'm not even joking when I say at this turn of the decade, my computer had like 40 gigs of storage.
Oof.
I
Damn.
wish I was joking. Like my old desktop, because I didn't.
Storage
Wow,
was storage wasn't that expensive back then, yeah.
no, but yeah, but I'm saying like my old, because like it was just one of those things where like I used it for schoolwork and stuff. I didn't do anything. I wasn't playing games or anything. I didn't even know computers were things that you can play games on. And I'm still like I'll always say my iPod Touch had more storage than my computer. So you're in 150 gigs for a game and
Yeah.
comparing it back, that's icy. I mean, now that I think about it, that makes a lot of sense because Red Dead Redemption 2, when I was installing that, I had it comes with 2 discs, and I had to. I was confused, and I was like, "Damn, I haven't seen this in a while."
Yeah.
And I put in the first one. It was like, it actually has it written on it. Insert this disc first, and then I had to install, and then that's crazy. That game, I really didn't realize. Damn, yeah, that game is big,
It's massive. It's a thick boy
thick with 2 C's.
with a space between each letter to make it thicker.
Double thick.
But like for like games that are disappointed at, probably the God of War series. Like I
Oh, like
never played.
disappointed that you didn't get to play it?
Yeah, I didn't play any of them.
Neither have I. And I had a PlayStation. I mean, for a limited period of time. But yeah, I had a PlayStation.
That would probably be it. Especially since I heard people really enjoy the last one. Yeah.
Right. I think for me, one thing I think I regret not getting to play earlier, and I just don't have the motivation to play right now, is Skyrim. I think Skyrim
Oh,
in
I've
its
heard.
heydays would have been a nice, it would have been a great experience.
True. I guess that was just never my style of game, so maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But who knows? Never
And that's the
tried it.
thing. You never know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I could definitely see, like, I don't think it was my style of game, but I think it's one of those things where with enough, I mean, again, enough community, it's one of those games that you can learn to love and learn to play.
Hmm.
I know Last of Us was a big title too. My PS3 died just after Last of Us came out, so I never bought it or anything. I missed out on that story. I know Last of Us 2 is coming soon. Yeah, that was something that I tried watching the gameplay. I really couldn't get into too much. I feel like it's something you have to play and experience.
Because I was just about to say, since that game is so story driven, probably just watch a playthrough.
Yeah, I tried, and it was one of those things where, because it really is like you can watch it like a movie, but I couldn't get into it. It's like one of those games that I would have wanted to play.
Understandable.
I mean, and as of late for 2019, I mean, Overwatch was again the big hype in 2016. 2017 was that was like, when the Switch was big and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out. I think one of my favorite games from 2017 was probably Near Automata, Near Automata, however you want to pronounce it. I really liked that game. That was a good game. I love 2B.
All of this was my Overwatch time, yo. All you're
Yeah,
talking about, like I only just stopped playing Overwatch at the start of last year. Like stopped playing it constantly.
you see, yeah, you said last year, I'm like start of 2018. No,
No,
you mean
start of
2019,
start
right?
of 2019, and even
Yeah,
through 2019, I've played it fairly often.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we've been playing more than we haven't touched Apex in a while. Apex was, and for me, game that I played most this year, Apex.
I'm
It
probably
started to
gonna
die out.
uninstall that, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, it's okay. Like Alex, we missed like a big game that came out the last couple of years. Fortnite, PUBG.
Yeah, so PUBG was the thing that got me into Battle Royale. I was watching that, and I already knew, like, I really wish that I recorded this like with a timestamp on it, but you could I spoke to my roommate. I was like, "Listen, man, Battle Royales are going to be huge." And I was like, it's I could I like, it sounded ridiculous at the time. I was like, I could literally see a stadium of people watching this. And sure enough, Fortnite happened. I thought it was gonna be PUBG that was gonna do it, but then Fortnite came in and did it.
Nah, they are. Where's is Play Unknowns? What's the name of the
Player Unknown Battleground.
yeah,
They like, the name of
they
the company is just Player Unknown.
yeah they fucked up. Their
Yeah,
game was just like a mess for too long. It was like not well optimized. It was kind of like unplayable on
yeah,
console,
at certain points. Yep, on
and
console especially.
yeah, and it wasn't that much better on PC. You needed insane hardware, and the game is not that good looking.
Yeah,
So And then Fortnite came out, and they did not care about making the game look realistic. They just like, yo, just here's our dying single player game. We're gonna we're releasing a battle royale mode. Let's see how it goes. And they just killed it.
They absolutely. I honestly think the thing that made Fortnite rise to greatness was they have a mechanic that nobody else has, building. And for me, that's what, like, I think that's what lifted the game up, but I also think that's what's killed the game for me, because it was a case of, unless you were on top of this game every single day, people just got too good too quick. I actually remember watching what can essentially be stated as what was probably like the first build battle, like for the public to see, and it was Myth from TSM versus god damn, what's this dude's name? I could see it. I can see his name. I can see his face in my head. Hold on. Just give me a second. I think it starts with an S. Summit. God damn, that's way too long.
That's a
So
big
Summit.
streamer. That's a
Yeah,
big name to
exactly.
forget, bro.
I mean, so, and it's like I'm like, but I was like, maybe it's not maybe like I was like, I knew it started with an S, but yeah, like Myth versus Summit was like one of the first publicized build battles that happened in a game. Where two of these streamers. Myth wasn't too big at the time. He was, but Summit, was massive. And when they met up in that game, and Myth beat him, that was Myth's call to fame right there. I still remember that. I was watching them building, and you know what they were doing back then nowadays was is child's play, but it was unheard of, it was unseen. And then after that point, the game just took off on this steady rise. Obviously, Fortnite is probably the most played game of, I'd probably say, the decade, and it happened within the last 3 years.
I don't know if I'll give it that title. That's simply because Dota and League of Legends exist, which has insane player numbers.
That's
Like,
true. And Dota 2 actually came out in 2013.
I just want to look up the amount. Like, I think I looked it up the other day, and I was shocked by the amount of players that play League of Legends right now.
And
Active
that's the thing.
player,
It's what League is one of those funny things where it never goes out of style.
nope.
you know, it's always there.
It peaked at 7.5 million concurrent players here. It has 67 million active monthly players.
Jeez.
That's dumb.
What about Fortnite? What's Fortnite stats?
Something ridiculous.
Let's see. Fortnite. Epic Games reported that there were 78.3 million active Fortnite players in August of 2018, and the concurrent amount of Fortnite players, so that's the amount of players playing at one time, 8.3 million.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
So it has more players now, but I wonder if it like just because League and Dota has been around for so long,
right.
if it's taken it over.
I think so. I mean, for top three, League, Dota, Fortnite.
Yeah.
Those are the big. Those are the big three. They have the largest and most consistent player base, especially for like an online multiplayer game.
So, but the battle royale genre, I never got into it. As a matter of fact, I would say this. I hated it. I still don't like it that much. I find it's too random. It's a lot of. It's too much luck that goes into it.
I can admit that. I agree with that completely. And again, I started with PUBG. That's what I started watching. That got me thinking about battle royales. But I remember anytime I tried to like get one of my friends into it, like, hey, dude, PUBG, like battle royales, you should definitely like check this stuff out. One of my friends literally looked at me and said, I don't want to spend 20 minutes looting to die.
I think I told you that. I think because you
Yeah, I
wanted
think
me
you're the
to.
second person who told me that. My one of my friends from Canada, the reason why he said he could never get into battle royale games is because, and the reason why any game that we play, he always just rushes people, is because I don't want to just loot and then die.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I'm sure you probably get frustrated when we play Apex. Like, whatever, I'm jump master. Where do I go, right?
The heat of battle.
Exactly, because I don't want to spend all game looting to just die.
Hey man, I mean we have Goat Simulator. You might as well have Loot Simulator, right?
I forgot Goat Simulator was a thing. Yo,
No, that's a thing that came out 2013.
that was an actual thing that happened. You
Yeah,
pretended to
man.
be a goat.
2014, my bad. 2014 was Goat Simulator. The fact that that game is still a thing now bothers me. Somebody literally sat there in the studio and was like, you ever wanted to be a goat?
The meme is too big. You can't kill the meme, bro. The only thing killing it now is the goose.
Oh
Untitled
yeah,
goose game.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me. Somebody sat there and was like, yeah, I want to be a goat, man. And then the person probably next to him was probably like, what, the greatest of all time? And he's like, nah, I'd be a
Nah,
literal
man.
goat,
Nah, like
like
eating grass and shit.
bad goat. Well, wait, no, goats don't go bad. That's sheep, right? What sound do goats make? I'm gonna
That's a
eat
good
your
question,
couch.
bro.
You see, this is why I need to play Goat Simulator. I need to learn how to
You'll
goat.
find out.
Exactly.
The only BR game that I really got into was Apex, and that's because the movement was good.
Yeah, it was very Titanfall. It was a lower version of Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
Titanfall 2, that was another great game that came out
yeah,
this
man.
this past decade, man.
Did you
I
finish the story?
I was gonna say I didn't even finish it yet, but it like the gameplay, the story, everything about it is great. I
It's
just
great.
haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, boy. Like I remember the first time I sat down to play it, I could not stop playing, just
Yeah.
because like the next mission would start and it would be so fun.
hmm
Like,
That would be a game that I would like to play in co-op.
yeah, it looked like it'd be fun to play in co-op.
And the funny thing is, I could see that being a thing where you would maybe have one person who's the what do you call it, the Titan,
The
and then
Titan,
the other person who's the actual pilot,
one
and
person be
then
BT and then next one be Cooper.
yeah, I think that would be a really awesome mechanic. I mean, obviously, there's like how do you deal with it when they actually get together, but I
Yeah,
still think it can be a doable. You can have one person who's controlling certain guns and the other person's controlling something else. I don't know, but I think that would be an interesting thing to look into.
yeah. But you did the time mission yet?
The Isn't that the thing that you have to do at the start?
Nah,
The gauntlet?
nah. It's
Time mission.
a mission. I forget the actual name of the mission, but you have a device like something on your hand or something, and you have to run through the map, and like it's part of the map. The map is when you use the device like on your wrist or something, it takes you back in time, and you're in a
Oh.
building, right? And the building now is abandoned and parts of it are on fire and unpassable. So you use that device to get you through the map.
Oh, snap.
So you could like a place would be unpassable, but then you use the device, go back in time where it's
It's
where
still passable and then you have to
yeah,
get
where
there in
it's
a
an
certain amount of
actual
time.
usable building. But then like when you go back in that time, it's not it's like it's a building that had it was not your stronghold, it was like the enemy stronghold.
hmm
So it's like still people will see you and start shooting you. So it's like it's a really fun mission, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a again Titanfall when it comes to fluidity of movement in a game for the I mean, again, I was talking about how Halo when I was playing the original Halo, man, I couldn't even crouch. Titanfall 2, it's ridiculous how far
Yeah. I would say
game mechanics
that's
have
the
come.
pinnacle of game movement.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
has done it better than Titanfall 2.
And unfortunately for those who missed it, if you have a PlayStation and you had PS Plus, you could have gotten Titanfall 2 for free. They were just giving it away. I mean, you didn't even need to download it, just add it to your library. But that was a last month thing. That was a 2019, so you missed that. But if you need to go get it because it's good.
As you mentioned that, did you end up getting Borderlands?
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
giving the people shade, and you missed a big sale, yo.
Hey
Correct.
man, I was distracted, man. I was taking care of my Pokemon. Damn, nah,
Borderlands
damn.
has
I,
been
I I
fun.
messed up on that, man. That sale ended
It ended. I
Wednesday
think
of
it
New
ended
Year's Day
yesterday,
at
bro.
11. Yeah, that I messed that up.
Yo, and it's been going great. That game is really fun. I don't know why I like it that much more than Destiny. It's a looter shooter, but
Right.
it's just so much better than Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, ever since I saw Borderlands, the thing that always kind of like messed me up was looking at the graphics. The graphics is a very different graphic style than what I'm used to or what I would say that I prefer. And that in my head, like, just always kind of messed me up, you know?
Yeah, it's more cartoony, more animated. But dude, you played Naruto, so
Yeah, but it's like a sketched cartoon slash animated thing, especially like for a shooter. It was kind of it was weird.
it can be like if it's about the gameplay. Really, that game.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not good. It's just not like a visual style that I'm used to, you know?
Yeah, it's not. I would admit it's not the. It's not. It's not gonna win any awards for best looking game. It would win awards for worst optimized because it's not a good looking game, but it's just not bad looking. But I don't get like the insane FPS that I expected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I'm getting like a 90 something or like 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I
Damn,
have it.
that's unacceptable for PC players.
Yo. Like it have certain games I won't play below 120 FPS. Yo. Like
That's
I won't.
bro.
I would not play Overwatch below 120 FPS. When I started playing Overwatch, I was playing it at 30 FPS, like barely 30 FPS.
It was like 28 and a half.
Yeah, it was definitely cinematic.
That those 24 frames. Oh man, I mean, as a console player, as someone who's been a console player for most of my life, I mean, frames again. I could definitely appreciate having more frames, but I think I'm just so used. I think now that I've been on PC for like a solid 5 months now, damn, it's been 5 months already. Um, that I'm really now I'm starting to when I don't see frames, it's like ah damn, there's something missing here.
Yeah,
Because what was it? Yesterday, last night, I was playing with one of my boys, and we were playing Overwatch on console on PS4. One thing I will say, console players can't aim. Like I when I was trying to just do simple things that I can do simply on PC, it's so much harder on console. Like having that control with just your thumb is so weird, so weird. Although I will say that once I got in the groove, people were dying to my mercy. So but I it's really interesting how there's that discrepancy in. I can see why PC is often called superior for both its graphics and also its interface of mouse and keyboard. Which again, it's one of those things like once you do get used to it, it's hard to go back.
yeah. It's called the mastery. It's just simply because when you experience it, there's no going back. Like you experience ultra settings and get 144 FPS. You can't go back to 60 medium, yeah.
Yeah.
For me at least.
No, like and it's honestly it's when you get 1440p or HD or anything, and then you go back to like 720 or upscale 1080, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
so like I was playing again Apex on console. I started Apex on console. I started Apex on both my PlayStation and my Xbox. That's just what I was used to. And then when I started playing it on PC, I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, this looks a bit better. But then I went back to console, and it was like, what is this? I could count these pixels if I tried hard enough.
Like even the next generation consoles. Okay, like the next generation console should be good for
Yeah,
like a year or so. And then because if you think about it, after a year after the next generation console, maybe 2 years after the next generation console, That would probably be 3rd gen RTX.
Right, which is gonna be better than what we got now.
Yeah, you might be able to enable RTX and have high frame rates by that point.
By that point, yeah. I mean, one thing I do wonder is, I'm wondering if console development is also going to start to change with the way things are now, because it really is a case where they might start refreshing console lines more frequently now. It might be a case of, yes, you have the original PS5 or the, I'm not
Hmm.
even going to say that stupid name that Xbox came up with. I'm just
Series
going to
X.
reference I'm just gonna reference. We just talking about the PlayStation right now. We just talking about Sony with their normal conventional naming conventions. So you have the PS5, and then maybe, like, 2 years later, you might have like a PS5, just like an updated version where it's just, again, it can still run the same games and so on. So it's like a pro version, but it's not the pro version. Like, they just upgrade the base version of it. I'm wondering if we're gonna start to see that, because I think what's happening now is we really are getting to that point where leaps are being made slightly quicker. One can argue that it is slowing down, but I'm wondering if, manufacturers are going to start developing consoles slightly differently. Are we going to start seeing refreshes and updates a bit more regularly now?
I, I think not. I don't think so. I think they'll probably keep going the same way they've been going. With the mid-cycle release and then the major releases every like how much years now?
6 years or so, approximately.
Yeah, I think they'll keep doing that just simply because of optimization.
Mm,
You keep They will just optimize a game because it will get to a point where you're losing too much money on the hardware because they lose money on the hardware.
that's very true.
So it will get to a point where if you'll be relying too heavily on the hardware sales,
That's a good point.
and then again, console players who have never played PC, they don't care. They don't know the difference between what they have and what's available on PC. They think, like a lot of console players now, still think that 30 FPS is playable,
No,
which
that's
it
a solid point. I mean, I think now you mentioned that, I do have a unique perspective as somebody who jumps between all of them.
yeah 30 f console listeners. I'm sorry, but 30 FPS is not playable, bro.
It's
That is
unacceptable.
not a playable FPS.
Hey man, again, you used to be on your near 30, so hey,
Yes,
the
but I
rest of
have
everybody
now
catching up.
seen the lights. Okay. I
Would you like to
use
hear about our amazing lord, the PC? Either way, I always say this, but I don't know what's coming next, but I know it's going to be interesting, and I know we're going to talk about it on here.
Yep.
Again, we could keep going on with this forever, but I think, we got a lot of stuff out there. We spoke a lot about just the games, and unfortunately we didn't get to talk too much about tech, but there's always next time.
I
So
mean, we covered tech a
a
bit.
little bit, but I mean, like, one thing I would have liked to touch on, again, maybe this is something we do just another time, is right at 2010 I was using a BlackBerry. Where
That,
is BlackBerry?
yeah, around.
BlackBerry don't even, like, I shouldn't even say BlackBerry. RIM, Research in Motion. That's the actual company.
They're probably still researching stuff. They're still researching.
They're still trying,
They're probably researching like, okay, so why did we fail?
bro. It's, again, it's one of those companies where it's like, I always say, if your company is not innovating, you're going to die.
Yeah,
Plain
true.
and simple. You're literally like cocking, you're loading your gun and you're putting it to your forehead. You're literally getting ready to shoot yourself.
You're basically being Kodak. Kodak was just like, yo, digital cameras?
Nah,
Nah,
that ain't gonna
man.
catch on. Everybody gonna come to us to process their photos. Where you at now?
Like, oh,
It's crazy how, I mean, and again, it's, if companies don't innovate, then they're gonna die.
they're
That's
gonna
it's
have
as
their
simple as that.
Kodak moments.
They're gonna have yo, clip it. Clip it. Oh man, that's genius. I like that. It's like, yeah, don't have a Kodak moment.
Nah.
But yeah, it's a lot of companies, especially in the tech industry, as it's moving so quickly, have come and gone. A lot of games have come and gone. It's been an interesting decade. A lot's happened. I mean, personally in my life, and I'm sure in yours as well.
Yeah.
With a lot of growth and a lot of development. I could honestly say I don't think I really didn't think about, like 10 years ago, if you asked me what I would be doing and where I would be, I would not be able to say this. But
Yeah.
here I am.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I know, like, actually, yeah. Nah, I wanted to build a good PC. I wanted to talk about interesting stuff. I didn't know I would be recording a podcast, but
I don't even think I knew the word podcast.
yeah, that wasn't.
I knew YouTube, but definitely didn't know anything about podcasts. I think anytime I heard podcast, I was like, is that an audiobook? Like, is that for old people? Like, honestly, I think that was like the stigma I had in my head. But no, times are changing. And stick around with us, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on in gaming and tech. That's what we're here for. So, you got anything else to say?
No, I think this is a good time to end this episode.
All right, cool. Well, again, thank you guys so much for listening. We actually have a Discord server up now. That'll be linked down below. We'll have just our general things there, general discussions. We'll also have links for game deals on there. We'll have a specific channel for deals. So we figured we might as well do deals on our Discord and on the channel. You can also follow us over on the Instagram, which will be linked down below, where we're just gonna start putting up deals that we see as we see them, most likely just because a lot of these deals are time sensitive. So we want you to get the deals that we see when we see them. So yeah, we hope that you guys stick with us through 2020 and beyond. And again, all the best to you in this new year, this new decade. Make the most of it.
All right, peace.
Peace.